For my deep dive, I'm going to be talking about Bookopolis and Biblionasium. These are both platforms that aim to encourage reading in children. So, first thing is that both of these market themselves in the same way. They both call themselves good reads for kids. So that's really what started me on this journey, because I was really curious as to why both of them were using this kind of same tagline, the same idea to get people involved. Many people know what Goodreads is. It's a reading platform where you can log all the books you've read, you can review them, rate them, and find suggestions from other people or by the platform for books that you should read next. So both of these platforms aim to do just that, but in a child-friendly, fun way. So each one has a place where you can log the books that you've read so far. So on the left, we have Bookopolis, and on the right, Biblionasium, and that's like that for most of these slides. So on the left, you can see that Bookopolis has a Reading It Now section, an I Read It section, and I Want to Read It section. And it's really easy to add to your books, create a new book list, a wish list of books that you want to read, get book ideas, you can invite friends, you can even go try and win free books or look at tutorials of how to use the platform. And all of that's right there in the same screen. It's really easy to use. Now, Biblionasium has the one bookshelf. Now you can see all the books that you've put into your bookshelf at once, or you can narrow it down by I want to read it, by your favorite books, by finished books, by books that you've logged that you own, and by books that you wish you had. So you can also add to a wish list there. So just an example, I just pulled up Peter and Wendy by J.M. Barrie on both of these platforms. So you can recommend books to friends. So you can send them a recommendation as well as a message, really easily recommending books to your best friends, as well as to classmates, because these platforms both have an option for education as well. So if you have a classmate, or if your teacher has put your entire class into one of these platforms, on both of them you can recommend books to whoever else is in your class. And you can have little notes that when you send your recommendations. You can also write reviews. So you can give your books ratings. You can write what your review is, your opinion. You know, there's this little on Biblionasium, you would like this book if you like. On Bookopolis, that's what they put under Book Buzz. But all of it kind of falls under the reviews. So both of these platforms offer that capability. Now, Biblionasium suggests books. Now, both of these platforms do that, but on Biblionasium, this is what it looks like. It gives you a shelf of fall picks, popular series, prize-winning authors, and fun books. None of the recommendations are really tailored to the child, but they do have some really good recommendations just based on what they feel kids would like. Now, Bookopolis does a similar thing, but their recommendations are based solely on what you would like for the most part. However, you can also see book recommendations based on what's popular right now by your age group and other things like that. What also you are able to do on Bookopolis is do a quiz called Book Quest. So this is a guided experience for them to help you find a book to read. So I'm saying I'm in 8th grade or above, and I like really thick books. So each one tells you what grades they're about, what length they are going to be about. So I like really thick books, and I'm thinking just a regular book with words for today. You know, no graphic novels or anything. I'm definitely a fiction reader, so I'm going straight for the fiction. You know, some magic never hurt anybody. Let's get some magic in there. And oh, there are a lot of options here, but I'm thinking maybe wizards and magic. And then these are all of the recommendations that they give. So I have 5 books that they're recommending to me just based on what I put in there. So I really like that tool. I think it's really great. Also unique to Bookopolis, they have a Read It Now page where all of these, if you click on the book cover, it leads you to a free PDF of that book, which is a really, really great resource for readers who maybe don't have a local library, or they don't have the funds to go and keep buying books when they want to read. And then they also have their own storefront. So you can actually buy books straight from Bookopolis. You can search by author, book, ISBN, and it's a really great way to source books because all of the money that you buy from their platform goes right to local bookstores to try and combat bigger businesses like Barnes and Noble, who are kind of running these smaller businesses out of business. They also have a report section, so you can actually test yourself in levels on what you've retained from the book. So you can do level 1, such as where does this story take place, or level 3, if the story had taken place in a different country, planet, or setting, how would it be different? So going from very basic to more thought-provoking questions. And like I mentioned, they also have giveaways. Now, this is on Biblionasium. This is unique to them, where you are able to make your own challenges. So Biblionasium is really great because you can either set challenges for yourself, or your educator or parent can set challenges for you. So that's a really great tool to help self-regulate. Now, if we're talking about SAMR, looking at substitution, both of these substitute for just a normal reading list, a wish list, anything like that, or a bookshelf. Then going to augmentation, both of these have really great augmentation potential. On Bookopolis, you're able to see your reading progress. You can log your books. You're able to see trailers and book talks. You're able to also get those personalized and tailored recommendations with the BookQuest tool, which is really, really cool. Same thing for Biblionasium. You're able to see your reading progress and your logs. When it comes to modification, Bookopolis doesn't really hit that modification box. However, I would say that Biblionasium does through the ability to create your own challenges. So that allows for students to kind of redesign the task for themselves and create their own challenges to meet. And then for redefinition, Bookopolis allows you to create public reviews. So this is something that you would not have been able to do without this platform. Students or children would not be able to, send these recommendations to each other or write out their reviews and have it, somewhere where they can be public and people can read them and see why this book is worth reading. Same thing for Biblionasium. These reviews really allow you to take control of your reading and reading lists in a way that you wouldn't be able to do without these platforms. Moving on to Bloom's taxonomy, the reviews really do hit the create tier, so students are able to produce new and original work, and it falls down all of the other categories because when they're writing their review, they have to understand and remember what they were talking about, right? They have to remember the book, they have to understand the book, they have to apply and analyze that to their reviews, and they have to evaluate it. They have to justify why they're saying why you should read this book or why you shouldn't read this book. So when they're referring these books, when they're recommending them, when they're not recommending them and telling you that you absolutely should not be reading this book, they're hitting those steps of Bloom's taxonomy. So I really like both of these programs. As an educator, I think that I would recommend Biblionasium because educators are able to set challenges for students and make sure that they're reaching them. But as someone who just enjoys books and someone who, when I was a kid, which one would I rather have? I would have loved Bookopolis. I think they're both great platforms. Bookopolis allows students to take control of what they want to read and their reading lists in a way that you wouldn't have been able to just by writing down what books you want, and it has a lot more resources there for students. But as an educator, I think I would recommend Biblionasium. But, it's really whichever one you're going for and what you feel is most useful to you and for your students. So I really hope that you enjoyed this deep dive into Bookopolis and Biblionasium. Thank you for listening.